Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, and this is still about Love is Blind, but a few seasons back we're going to talk about Iyanna from season 2 and the real reason why she and Jared ended their marriage. So before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. You can also find a link to my Discord, which is where this conversation has been happening. Thank you guys for letting me know what's been going on so I can come here and talk to you guys about it on YouTube. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but we're gonna get into it, okay? So in this podcast episode, and also she was on live talking about it too. So somebody had initially said they saw it on live, somebody else sent the podcast, and she was saying the same thing. So she starts off the podcast talking about how she's really overwhelmed right now, especially with the new season coming out. It almost feels like it's triggering her feelings about her relationship and why things didn't work out for her. And so she's been trying to focus on processing her feelings, but because she's been keeping a secret, it's hard to fully get into all the happenings that went on in the relationship because, well, it's been centered around a lie.
When I thought I was good and I was like, no, I'm healed. I'm coping well. I was just distracting myself.
What is the root?
Stupid fucking.
Are you ready to
The show?
Okay.
The divorce, the hiding of what actually happened in my divorce has been eating at me because I can't talk about it.
You can't or you won't?
Okay, I won't talk about it.
She says that as the seasons have been coming out, season 3 and season 4, she kind of has a reliving of everything that she went through, and it's like bringing up all of these unresolved emotions. So she's been trying to distract herself, but for some reason this season was just too much for her. Everything came to a head, and so she wants to tell her truth in order to finally put the relationship to rest so she can actually grieve her divorce properly and move on. So she tells us that the thing that she's been holding on to is that at the end of her relationship, or near the end of her relationship, let's say, she found out that Jared has been cheating on her. And the way she found out is that a woman, not a woman that we know, but a woman actually reached out to her with a detailed email regarding the situation. I just had to take a pause because an email, yo, I'd be vexed.
Jared cheated.
How did you find out?
I found out 3 days before after the altar. I received an email with details, very specific details.
I remember when this happened. So like, yes, it's a red flag, but then you also battle with the fact that you made commitment to stay.
And I knew, and my gut was telling me not to, and even still I did it. And so I felt like even still I needed to, like, I just had to see it through.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. It was so much for me to have to still film after that and pretend as if, like, not pretend as if everything was okay, but like I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
She says that when she found out he had cheated, she wanted a divorce immediately, right? And her mom had told her, don't make decisions out of anger. And even though I agree with the mom, but I'm just like, yeah, angry or not, divorce. Ultimately, she does believe that that was the best decision for them because they were not compatible. But she did have a moment where she went back to him for a little bit. It happens. It's tough. It's a tough one when a relationship ends and it's not on mutual grounds. So when something happens and you feel like you have to remove yourself even though you don't want to, it's easy to get back into that, oh, maybe I was hasty in my decision. Oh, I was being irrational, stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, it was the best for them. And she talks about that later. We're going to get into that too. But it was interesting watching after the altar and seeing the irritation that Iyanna had with Jared. Now in context, it makes a lot more sense. I was like, this woman, it looks like she's like momming him, you know? Like something about him is so subpar to the partner that she wished and hoped she'd be married to. So now she has to force Jared into being the perfect guy. And now that I think about it too, now will I say, no, I'll talk about it later. I have it in my notes. I'll talk about it later. Iyanna, to me, after the altar, seemed as if she was looking at Jarrett as the one who did all the wrong. And the Iyanna I know is more introspective than that. So I was surprised. I was like, why is this her stance? This doesn't make any sense. Now it does. Now it does. If you cheat on me, honey, I'm blaming you. Even though we know that in relationships, there are 3 sides to every story: his, hers, and the truth, or theirs, and the truth. So, yeah. So as I'm editing, apparently Jarrett has posted on his Instagram that he's been playing nice, but he'll be speaking out soon. Honestly, sir, you're the one who cheated. I don't know. So, okay, I guess Jarrett has something to say. If you watch my recaps, you will know that I absolutely hated the way Jarrett would compare the two women being Iyanna and Mallory. Mallory's not in the equation. I'm just bringing her up for context, okay? I hated the way that he would compare these 2 women because Mallory was the fun-loving, you match my vibe, I'd love to have somebody like you, blah, 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 right? Whereas Iyanna was the strong Black woman. She's so resilient. She's so tough. She's been through so much. All of these things that, to me, felt as if he was inadvertently saying, I could put you through so much and you would stick by me. And I hate that so much. I hate that so much. I even spoke a few months ago. I think it was a live video. We were talking about the TJ Holmes situation, the Derek Jackson situation, and obviously Jarrett and Iyanna, and how this strong Black woman trope is becoming very detrimental for Black women, because it seems like they think they can put so much on us and we'll just bear it all. Excuse me, I'm not one of God's strongest soldiers, okay? Please, miss me with your burdens. So it is clear that Iyanna was processing a lot, having to deal with Jarrett, and it just became too much.
From the outside looking in, and the part that scared me for you was seeing the literal life getting sucked out of you, because of the fact that the person that I met when I very first met you, like, was almost like a shell of who you had become in that relationship. And that's hard.
I was so drained.
You were.
It's so sad to see her being this broken after this relationship. I feel like there was a lot of sweeping under the rug, if we're going to be honest, though. If we're going to be honest, I do think that there were some signs. There were some signs that Jarrett maybe wasn't ready for marriage, at least marriage to Iyanna. That's not to say he couldn't have been a great partner to somebody else who matched his vibe better, but the husband that Iyanna was looking for, Jarrett was not going to be. Not in the near future, at least. So there was some oversight there, if we're going to be honest. There was definitely some oversight. So seeing her trying to build up this man who didn't seem like he had the desire to be the man she wanted him to be, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see her so low after this relationship, looking like a shell of a woman, because you never want that. You'd want to leave something saying, like, leave a relationship saying, you know what? Although things didn't work out, I've grown so much and I've learned about myself, and the love was there and it was a beautiful relationship. It's just that we're incompatible. You don't want to leave having to re-find yourself because you lost yourself in that union, you know? So I wanted to talk about being vigilant, right? When we see the signs. And so I'm just going to do a little bit pause here and then get back to what I was about to say. Yes, it is an edited show. And I know a lot of people like to say, there's more to the story that you missed. Fair and fine. There is. A lot gets left on the cutting room floor. There is enough that we do see that should spark conversations in these people's relationship. I felt like the Jarrett that we saw on screen is similar to the Jarrett that she's depicting now, however many years later. So yes, the show is edited, but I think people should look a little bit deeper in the stuff that they do see. And I hope that behind the scenes, they are having these conversations after seeing these shows, even to the couples who are married now from season 4. The stuff that looked problematic on the show, I hope that they dive into that. And I hope that they flesh those things out, if not with their partner, at least for themselves. So going back to what I was saying before, I would love us as people, not even just women, people, to be more vigilant about the signs, right? Seeing Jared on the show, he seemed to lack boundaries between his female friends or even his exes. He would party all night and seemed to take pleasure in being with his friends more than being with his partner. To me, those were telltale signs that maybe marriage is not something that should be on the cards for him. At the very least, marriage to Iyanna. I want to make that clear. Just because somebody isn't compatible with you doesn't mean they're not compatible with anybody, right? I saw Jared and I just saw university boy, frat boy, not ready for something serious anytime soon. So it doesn't fully surprise me that cheating happened. I didn't think cheating happened. I just thought he was just too immature to be in this relationship. But the life he was living was not conducive of the husband that Iyanna was looking for. I hope that this doesn't come across as victim blaming. That's not my intention at all. What I am trying to say is that oftentimes we like to gloss over some of the things that we see as problematic and potential issues in the future for the sake of being in that relationship, staying in that relationship, and saying, well, I love that person. You can love them from afar. It's okay. That's not a problem. So now post-relationship, Iyanna is reflecting, and people were asking her on a live, would she still have stayed if they could work out their cheating? And she says no, because at the end of the day, she doesn't even think he was into her.
Would you still be together if he didn't cheat? I don't even know how to. No, I actually wouldn't, because we're so incompatible. It wasn't just that. We were wildly incompatible. Different interests. He's not growth mindset, and that frustrated the shit out of me. He used to think I talked too much. He didn't want to talk to me. That man didn't like me, y'all. I'm pretty sure he didn't like me. He said, I love you. I like you so much. No, you don't. You lying. Stop lying to me. She knew who he was before he slept with women. I actually didn't. I actually didn't. That was my biggest regret, that I realized after the fact. I didn't know who he was. I thought I did, and maybe I convinced myself I did. Probably I did. I was probably just so wanted to be so in love that I was like, oh no, it's fine. I believe his words. Learned lesson. Learned lesson.
Again, I say, we need to be vigilant on the things that we see and not gloss our eyes for the sake of love. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. She says she feels like he was never really into her in the way that she was into him. Something like that. Paraphrasing. Wasn't that prevalent on the show? Because when I saw that man Jared boo-hoo cry over another woman, I said anybody he picks after her, it's a wash. Don't even do it. And unfortunately he did. He did. And so Iyanna, I don't know what was in her mind when all of that was happening, but she did proceed with the relationship and did proceed with the marriage. But now in retrospect is realizing maybe he wasn't fully into it. We could have told you that from time. Again, the show came out like a year after they got married, so that part is irrelevant. But yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad to see. I'm glad, however, that she's able to fully speak her truth. And she did say she was afraid of telling the truth because she didn't want negative repercussions to be put on Jared. She's really trying to protect him. But honey, at the expense of your mental health? No. Absolutely not. I think somebody in the Discord was saying that Jared was on a podcast a while ago, adamantly saying that he never cheated on her. That's not the reason why things didn't work out. Turns out that was a lie. Yeah, also, guys, don't be with somebody who makes you lie on their behalf. Like these kind of lies, you know? Whew. anyways, she goes on to say that she is going to focus on herself, try to immerse herself into new passions, surround herself with family so that she can get back to the woman that she was, but not completely, because she does admit that the woman she was before marriage was a little bit naive. And so now, having gone through what she's gone through, she's a little bit more prepared for her next relationship, but she's taking time to herself at the moment. So yeah, all the best to her, all the best to Jared as well. I hope that he is able to reconcile whatever is in himself that couldn't show up in the way that I feel like he wanted to. I think he wanted to be a husband, and a good one at that, but something in him just couldn't allow him to. So I hope that that's something he can resolve for himself. And yeah, that's it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.